So I didn't separate these out yet, but I'm gonna give everybody one of each. Well, before I hand them out, well, no, we'll just do it. These are the final versions. This is what has been sent to the town board. This is the same as what you got in the email last week. I just wanted everybody to have them.
I got these.
There's two of this one map and I'll explain that in a minute. So there's 4 maps total, we all know, but there's 5 here. Well, Kim does that. The difference is that the agricultural protection overlay district was one of the reasons we wanted to do the map updates. As we all remember, there was that's just a stack of all the same things. Oh, that's only 2.
Yeah, it's these three.
Sorry, I can't talk. I'm too distracted. I'm not gonna touch the maps for a minute. So the agricultural protection overlay district was the law that went into place a couple years ago, but it was just a text update. No one ever made a map, and we all talked about how we needed to have a map. There's 2 copies because Labella, in preparing the district for us, realized that the way it's defined doesn't clearly say whether or not the district can go beyond the red, even though the parcels themselves might be partly in the red area and partly outside of it. So in talking with Barbara from Labella and in rereading the law, we decided that this one where this orange hazy area goes outside the red boundaries is probably the most accurate version of the map. Because when the law kicks in is when one of these parcels that's more than 7 acres that's in the district is involved in an application for development where sewer extension might be proposed, you know, stuff like that. But we're not going to not make them adhere to the law just because their land, their acreage is bigger and goes outside the boundary. We're still gonna hold them to it because at least part of their parcel falls in the district. So we decided that this one where they're overlapping up there, that one is going to be the map that the town board adopts, not this one. But they showed us the clipped version because they weren't sure. But I talked to Barbara last week and I said, what would be the benefits of adopting either one? And she and I agreed that, and after rereading the law, it doesn't say anything about whether the parcel overlaps the boundaries. So
I don't think
this one looks pretty, but I think this is more accurate. Because this identifies the parcels and the language of the law said parcels. It didn't say portions of a parcel that fall in it. It just says parcels that meet this criteria. So even if part, yeah, so even if part of it is outside, we're still gonna do it. So this is just for informational purposes only. This did not get sent to the town board for adoption. It's pretty version, only the messy one, unfortunately. But this is the second version that you guys have seen. As you remember, we had a couple issues with the first ones. The red boundary was so faint we couldn't see it. So they darkened that up for us. And in doing that, they actually went back and darkened some of the lines on these other maps for us from what they had originally shown us in April. So I think in all the maps look better than they did in April. And then the biggest change obviously is the yellow, green and blue map that they had come to us with a different color scheme. And when we looked at it, we all decided that we want to be able to compare it with the existing lands of conservation value, and it's hard when they were different colors. So they've now provided us with this one, which here's our original lands of conservation value. Here's the other version, so we can do fairly easy comparisons now. knowing the maps are still two separate maps and we're not getting rid of the original. That part's probably gonna be the hardest part for people who aren't in our group to understand.
What does the rating mean?
So when we did our open space map, our open space plan, oh gosh, it was a long time ago, 2018. Lobella prepared our open space conservation and scenic views master plan. The biggest piece of it was this map, and the intent was so that if the town board were ever presented with an opportunity to buy land, to protect it, to create a new park, they could look at this map. They wanted to know its value in conservation, and the darker the color, the better it was. It's a great map, it's really useful, but it's highly weighted on parcel size.
So like that little,
You can ask them,
Which one?
conservation value.
No, but you do.
Okay.
Maybe you don't. You have been given another one. I can print you another one. Actually, yeah. Actually, I might have it in here more than once. Anyway.
like with Janet, that's that little area that they just bought, right, over there.
Yeah,
It wouldn't show up highly on the other map, because it's small.
right.
Yeah, you know, like the farmland around me would show up higher because it's.
Yeah, and so we didn't see necessarily a reason to completely replace that map. It's still really useful. Especially, and we call it's the biggest bang for your buck, right? So you want to make a huge impact. The town should protect one of the really dark blue ones on this lands of conservation
Right.
value map.
Okay.
But if you just want to see the overall value, conservation only, size not a factor at all. That's what this map does. And it's really small. These maps are made to be our normal size, so this is hard to read, but this, like our original map, this kind of explains what these mean and how they got there. Yeah, we tried to make it a purely ecological map, valued on ecological features, land cover, habitat, how close is it to water, those sorts of things. And the presence or absence of those things. So some parcels that we think, oh, like everything along Menteith Creek, shouldn't that be, dark blue? Well, no, because maybe the parcel has nothing on it that was, so things with like forest and stuff are gonna be more highly rated than the farmland, which is why most of our large farmland is not, it's still green,
Yeah.
So our intent was to keep both maps, have this new version and keep the old one, use them together to help our planning board, help town board, parks, whoever wants to, and property owners. We're trying to see like, where should we be focusing if we're talking about open spaces and keeping them open?
Did,
We have a new
Is
table.
the
I
set
didn't
coming?
print it. We
Okay.
have gotten it. I did reach out for clarification. I have what they sent, but wasn't sure it was the most updated one because it's dated April and I can't remember if they made any changes after April. So I have it, but I didn't print a copy
so
today.
you can look up.
As soon as she
parcel numbers, yeah.
confirms,
Okay.
I'll email that again. But yeah, so this is tied to a table. We have a table that goes with the original one too, but we have a new table that goes with this one. And it's nice, good you brought that up because you guys remember one of our goals was to get these finished and have that table. So then we could come up with a list of criteria and mail out the brochures to some landowners that we felt might benefit from that information. And so probably it's going to be the ones that are dark blue on this map and maybe the other color too, or pick, rate it or organize the spreadsheet based on that and then pick like 100 of them and mail them or something.
Do-
You guys will have to decide who you want to mail to and how you want to decide that, but now we can.
Do we have a record of, may have been 15 or 20 years ago? Ryan was around,
Stage up,
yeah,
yeah.
when we had some kind of a conservation easement group and we did send out a mailing. And we had a meeting
A
Do we have a
list of
list
those
of those
people,
people?
I'm not sure.
Somewhere?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure that's what you'd wanna do anyway. I think it should be based on this.
Well, I think that's what we did. I'm trying to think what the
Oh.
criteria was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it should probably be based on acreage. You probably don't wanna send it to someone with 3 acres, you know? But maybe 5, maybe 10, I don't know. Those are the questions you'll need answers to before you do them, you know? But anyway, we have the updated parcel list, got the flyers. And, you know, that was one of the main things we wanted to accomplish after we got these maps done, so. I think that'll be good. I don't know what'll come of it. I don't know if people will do anything with it, but
So what was that earlier mailing was to get interest in people applying for purchasing
I don't know.
rights or?
I think it was in 2015. I was brand new here, so I don't really remember what it was for. There was a conservation easement team, which was the
Yeah.
beginning of this group. Obviously, we changed the name because we do more than conservation easements, but yes, it was the original team. And they did more like high level ideas, and there's still, their report is on the website under the conservation. Actually, it might be on our page for this team. You can look at it. The membership was some of the same people were on it. You were on it. But I think now, you know, we've been focusing on the more detailed stuff now. We've got all the ideas. Our comprehensive plan talks about the big picture, why it's important and all that, but now it's like, how do we move the needle? Getting people to protect their land is how you move the needle. And the town too, but obviously the town's limited with budgeting, do what we can, but. I mean, we are doing it though. I mean, Onondaga Park's a lot bigger than it used to be, quite a lot bigger, actually. So, you know, the boards, and we bought the parcel next to McJanet Park. We gave the land trust $100,000 to Open Vista. You know, so I mean, when they can make an impact, they will, but private landowners can make a bigger impact.
What's the status, if any, on the RSM lakefront? Any idea?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Is it alive or not?
I don't know. Still for sale.
Precisely, you know, again, it was.
But just because I don't know, doesn't mean there's not something happening.
Well, you're a lot closer to the
Yeah, but,
action.
yeah, but I don't know the
If
close
you
to our conversations. We wouldn't
mean,
know
that-
until the town board.
Talk about
announces
the
it.
comprehensive plan, and one of the prime things was lake access for folks.
Right,
And that's the last, it's a shitty parcel, but it's the
but it's
last parcel.
something.
And it would be so nice for those people that up at Lakewood. They would have access, and I would think the Morel guys would jump on it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there definitely have been conversations about different ideas, partnering with the DEC, doing some sort of a kayak launch, you know, but it's still for sale, so.
And it's not big money.
If something's happening, I don't know about it. I don't think that means there's no conversations. I just am not part of those.
Well, it's not on the top of their list.
And it's not part of it,
Or would it?
for sure. That's probably the biggest part of it, is whatever's going on, I don't know about it. But no news. So far.
Is that parcel both sides of the road or just the lakefront?
Yeah.
It's a
like
small
one-
amount
It's like
of
an acre
land
or so.
up. But it's with 350 or 380 feet of
Feet,
lakefront.
yeah, and then a little bit on the other side.
Yeah.
The parcels changed. It used to be bigger, but,
Just thinking of parking or if people were gonna
Right.
actually use it. Is,
yeah. I mean, potentially, yeah, you could put a little parking lot. And have people cross the road, and there's space to put like a kayak launch or a fishing dock or whatever. But But it's not an easy parcel,
No, there's no question, but there aren't anymore.
no. you're
That's
right.
the dilemma, and somebody should be paying attention. Or we waste our time on stuff like this.
The open space team probably know about that, but
Yeah, I
We
think
do.
so.
I know the ECB did a couple years ago.
Well, yes, when there was a vote, the open space, the ECB, you know, a lot of people individually encouraged.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We
Wow.
piggybacked off of ECB's number.
Disappointing.
I mean, we do what we can. We give the information to the people who make the decisions, and that's really all you can do. But, you know, I mean, if with the mailing with private landowners, if a couple people say, hey, I didn't know I could do that, and then do something, well, that's an impact. It's small, but it's a piece.
it all adds
Well,
up.
Kristen knows, we had someone just recently put a conservation easement on their own private land at the suggestion of the planning board, and it's about to be finalized on Mondays.
Just out of the goodness of their heart, or was there any
Where's
incentive?
It was encouraged by the planning board and she agreed.
She was all for it.
She
She
probably
never
wouldn't,
intended on any development.
right,
on
she
that.
probably wouldn't have developed anyway, but now it's,
Well, she bought the parcel, so it wouldn't. It's behind the parcel, the first parcel she owned was where her home is, and then she bought like a farm field that surrounded her property.
Ah,
And then she wanted to subdivide a portion of it off and then agreed to
Yeah.
leave the remaining to do a conservation,
Right.
agricultural conservation.
Can you
yeah, so
tell us
farming
where
will
it
be
is or not
aligned.
yet?
21 and Knott Road.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
it's public
corner?
already, so.
It's not right on the corner, it's across from the red barn, it's the White House, it's kind of a weird shaped lot, but it's the field beyond.
She's got
that.
solar
So
panels.
it's
Yeah,
the
green
southwest.
Yes,
corner?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, southwest corner.
yeah, so like there's the
Whoever
hill
bought
behind.
that at one time, they were kind of junior farmers. They had
She
some,
was farming
Yeah.
it, she was part of the Canandaigua Farmers Market, I think she
Yeah.
was like the treasurer or something, she was pretty involved in
well, that's,
doing some
that's nice.
agricultural stuff there. So.
Yeah, so she would have been a good steward of the land anyway, but
Yeah, it's
if she ever decides to sell, move away, the land will still be protected.
My neighbor just sold land to the land trust to expand Vista.
Oh,
By
yeah.
another 20.
I've been working with them on that, because they
Okay.
had to do a lot line adjustment to change their lot boundary
Yeah.
in order to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's nice.
So that was a situation, right? I mean, it was private property. They were turning over, they were selling it, and it was just too big a lot.
Yeah.
For them, so it kind of incentivized their sale, but they were able to because they're adjacent to Vista,
Yeah,
south of the land trust. so.
yeah,
Worked
yeah, I'm
well.
excited about that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I know the land trust would like to expand it north too.
Yeah.
even
it's
bigger.
nice. It's a-
They're a fan of big impact projects. They don't like little ones.
But it's, again, getting their newsletter, there are some wonderful stories of people that,
Yeah,
you know, that just, they've either had it forever or they just bought it and they want to protect it and.
Well, and, you know, when we do the mailing to some of these people, the intent is not that they come and work with the town. You remember our brochure has, look, there's all these different ways you can do
Yeah.
it. And here's all your local contacts for groups who do it. All of, I think we have 4 land trusts listed on there. We've got Genesee Land Trust, Genesee Valley Conservancy, the Finger Lakes Land Trust, and the Nature Conservancy. All listed on there in addition to us. Like, the town board is not probably super interested in managing a bunch of easements. I think, you know, it's probably best if they work with a
Oh,
land trust.
absolutely.
But the town obviously is willing to do it. If no one else is, so. But. So it's on the agenda for Monday for them to adopt it. One thing actually Kim and I were talking about this. They're going to be adopted as appendices to the plans where these maps live. All of these except for one are just updates to existing maps.
That were,
So like our.
2018 or whatever. it
Yeah,
was,
so these are gonna become in an appendix. So they will be part of the plan, so they're updating the plans, but they're adding these maps. They're, I'm gonna update the table of contents page to show it as a new appendix. And make it clear that, you know, these are new versions. The old plan is still there. It was relevant at the time, so I didn't feel like deleting the old maps was necessary. I just felt like adding it as new information. If those plans are ever updated in the future, obviously you'd do it, but since this is just kind of a pending, I don't know. I felt like that was probably the best bet right now. When those plans are revised down the road, probably have an even newer version of these maps, but I would like to get these printed and take away the old versions from our larger printed maps that we display. That we used to display, that hopefully we will display again. The new map will be added as an appendix to the open space plan. Obviously as a new map. That's the only part I think people are gonna be confused about. Labella changed the name of it because we asked her not to have the same name. Because we thought that would be even more confusing. But, so they're all set to do that on Monday. I see no reason why they wouldn't. They might have forgotten about it. But, so we should be
Who
all
may
set.
have forgotten about it?
The town board. I mean, they did,
I
they
don't think they
approved,
pay any attention.
Terry does. He came to our meeting.
The last meeting we had.
Jared obviously likes the idea. He's not involved, but he's fully supportive. Has never questioned whether we should do this or not, so that's good. I did remind them when I wrote the resolution to do it. I mentioned the resolution they passed last year, hiring Labella to do this and reminded, okay, now the project's done. We gotta make it official. So. It's a two-part process since when we're updating our plans, we have to do a public hearing, because the planning documents are official. So it takes 2 months, so it won't be finished till September.
Looking at what I think is the retreat property, has anything happened there?
I have no idea.
No, haven't heard anything.
So I don't know about it really. But again, just because I haven't heard anything doesn't
Yeah,
mean,
That's,
I mean,
gathered
it's still
today-
owned by a nonprofit, I think. But
When's the last time you saw a nun inhabit?
no, I don't think it belongs to the church anymore. I think a
There were 3
nonprofit bought
nuns
it.
walking Mid Cheshire Road the other day.
Oh,
They
really?
seemed so out of place. I mean, they had short black skirts, but they still had
Uh-huh.
a hat and, you know, it just seems so
Ah,
anachronistic.
I find that triggering. I went to Catholic private school.
Ah.
In the 80s when they still was whacked you with
Yeah,
rulers.
it's about by Terry Fenley's house.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah,
I figure
no, I
that's
don't
where
know
they
what's
must have
going
come
on with
from.
it. I know people were trying to keep it going to use for events. There's the history group sometimes has events there
They've
still,
been
I
meeting
think.
there regularly.
Yeah, I think they have recently too. I know they were like a year or so ago, but I
Yeah.
think they're still doing
I've
it.
been there, I think 3 times.
That's a nice spot.
I've never been in it.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting building, but they let us use the dining room area. For history building.
Does anybody live there?
There were people there. I don't know if they live, well, if we were there in the evening. Maybe they do live there, but there were things going on. There
Yep.
were people there. Yeah,
It's a big parcel.
huge.
Where's Jeremy Fields' parcel? I think that'd be the retreat center, right?
Right here.
So, okay. So it's part of,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, this should be
Because this
Lakewood.
this is the PDR
It's Whiteful's.
Weifels, and I think his is behind it.
Okay.
Towards the lake.
It was.
Is this the guy that's got the
Having them side by side.
fire
with the
engines?
Dark blue, it's like.
You know, where it's got a flag hanging
It,
up.
it
There's
really
fire
pointed
trucks.
out some of the ones that are,
Sure.
Yeah,
heavy hitters. for us.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this used to be, Woodry's dad, Mike Woodry's property.
Actually, that might be Cicerine. The
Oh.
dark blue one on them Cheshire. You can't see the parcel lines when it's dark. But oh no, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's not. That's his is farther up and smaller.
That's Gary Whiteful's. This is Lakewood. I think this is the guy that's got the fire trucks.
Oh, yeah,
And I
you're right,
think
and it comes out on 21.
Yeah, I think it was Mike Kutry's. And then whoever bought it.
Right,
But anyway, as you can see, it's fun to these
Yeah.
maps.
Damn, you're leaving.
Take a set of maps with you.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's-
Loves maps, yeah.
I think the next task for this group after these maps are adopted is to go back to our goals. I mean, we were just kind of going down the list and checking it off as we moved along, so we still have the list of things we wanted to accomplish. And the next in line was get these adopted, get your new parcel rating table, and then do outreach. So I think that would be the next step. Figure out who to mail it to and send them out. There's budget money for mailings. I don't know how many you'd end up with, but
the biggest budget for the. group right now.
that was a few $100.
Okay.
Actually, I think this year was more because we were carried money forward to pay for the maps. And I think for next year, it's maybe $500, which should be
Okay.
plenty to mail. I don't think we budgeted a lot because I knew the group probably wouldn't be doing any really large expensive projects. But money for mailing,
Small money.
yeah.
Um,
But, and there's money in the budget, well. We have proposed money in the budget, the town budget next year for some, planning updates, like comprehensive plan updates, which will benefit this group obviously because, new land use mapping stuff, so.
how much money is in open space fund presently?
I don't know. I can find out.
I mean, that tells you where the commitment is or isn't. I suppose the present town manager even knows what it is,
Yep,
does he?
yep, he's pretty aware of all that. And he supports it. Obviously, he does whatever the town board wants, but it helps when you support it. He might joke that he's not. So he might joke that he's not, because it makes me laugh, but yes.
Are we being recorded?
Yes.
I'll ask you a question after. we end.
Okay. Um, After the meeting, hopefully later today, I'll send a recap out to the group.
Refresh my memory as to the incentives listed in the brochure. Entice people to consider those.
The incentives would just be what's out there. There's grant money available to people. DEC and the Land Trust Alliance, they have grant money out for the community forest grant program. If there's a landowner who's considering selling and they have 10 acres of forested land, that's a perfect opportunity for the town to purchase and then recoup up to $300,000 back towards the purchase. The caveat is it has to be publicly accessible afterwards, so that's only useful for people who are not just trying to preserve it for their own private use. If they just want to preserve it, they're interested in selling or working with a land trust, that grant can be really useful. Town's never used it, but it's available to land trusts and municipalities. You don't just have to be a land trust for that. There's still the grant money for farmland preservation, obviously. And then there are some tax breaks. You can have an easement on your property. And there's probably other grants out there that I'm not familiar with. So there are potential incentives. Most of them are grants and they're gonna be competitive, but
Who would determine the town taxes or?
no, the town has no tax benefits for
Okay.
Well,
for conservation easements that the town offers.
the benefit is if you've got a privately owned easement that says it can't be subdivided, it would be taxed less than were it available to be subdivided.
The assessment might be
So,
less.
yes, yeah. In other words, its market value is considerably diminished.
Probably, yeah.
And if you're well heeled enough, you can take, because you've given up a tax benefit, you can take a tax deduction for one. Diminishment of your property value.
Yeah, when you do your income taxes,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a benefit there too. I don't remember the details of it, but, and
And,
that's obviously not competitive. You just have to fill out the information.
and I think the state gives you a certain dollar break
Yeah.
as well.
So there are real incentives and potential incentives out there, financial, but
People talk about in perpetuity, it's a long time. And that's the ideal is once you've given up the development rights, it is what it is. It's never gonna change,
right.
but sure there are challenges. Or changes of heart.
We haven't seen them in the town yet,
No.
or at least not that I'm aware of. None of the farmers who have PDRs have ever reached out to us to say they want to reverse it, but several of them have reached out to say they want to do more. The Brockle Banks right now are working on expanding theirs. I think we've heard from a couple others who are interested in expanding theirs. We know for a fact, recently we had one of the other farmers expand theirs successfully. So people who are already in the program like it.
PDRs are really, to me, a wonderful. If you're a farmer, especially if
They
you've
do
had
the
it in
job,
the
I'll say.
family forever, you can cash out on the development value of your land and it can remain a farm. So you've got your retirement. You're not forced to sell.
No one's forcing them to sell. They choose to sell.
Yeah, but it certainly frees up.
Yeah, well, I
Their
mean, yeah, the
future.
whole point of the grant works. It's saying, hey, we know you could make this much money if you sell to a developer, but you could make a little less and it could stay farmland. Please consider this alternative.
Yeah.
And some of them are not willing to. But a lot of them are.
The ones that aren't willing to,
Sell to a developer,
so that's.
if they can.
Higher
I mean, they
price.
do. Certainly happens. I mean, how many farms have been turned into neighborhoods? Those are the farmers who sold out. And it's, I mean, you can't really fault them. They don't wanna farm it anymore. Their kids don't want to. What else are they supposed to do? So, and some of them don't qualify for this program, so that's still gonna happen.
And the most recent one, as I understand it, is right across from what a Market Monarch Hills or whatever the hell it is on the Town Lane, Farmington Town Lane Road.
I don't know.
It used to be Taylor's property,
That was purchased by the Brockle Banks and
I
they're
know, I know,
working on
but
protecting it.
right across the road is a monster housing
Oh,
development in
Yes.
Farmington.
Right.
I mean, if
yes,
there's not a classic example
yes.
of,
And that worked out
preservation,
well
yeah.
for both parties. The previous landowner was able to work with the new owners and they came to an agreement and the new owners purchased it. They're going to try and get a grant from the state, but it's theirs whether they get it or not. So, and that family is really responsible, so they'll protect it from development, so. So it was a win-win and with a
And they-
potential bonus.
they've got a history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
which is
successfully managing
Yeah.
it, correct, yeah.
What about woodland preservation? There's different programs around the state.
So the one I
offers.
mentioned, the
Yeah.
Community Forest Conservation Program, is specifically for forested parcels. They have to have a minimum of 75% forest cover on the 10 acres, well, 10 or more acres. So that's only for forested lands. There could be others, but I don't know.
You know, there's this family carbon offset. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard about
And they will pay the owner a certain amount of money not to continue logging the property. We have to have some woodland management by a forester done. And it's, you know, not a tremendous amount of money, but it incentivizes people allowing trees to grow and
Yeah.
continue to capture carbon. And the offsets, it's.
it. You have to have a higher number of acres.
You.
I did hear
do,
about it,
Yeah.
but like
yeah,
if
you
you've
can
got
more
like
than-
10, it doesn't
no,
work. You've gotta have
like
more,
30
30 or more, yeah, right.
acres were-
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah.
That might be an update for our brochure in the
Yeah,
future, is
yeah,
adding programs
something-
like that.
Something to consider.
Didn't Dennis Money applied for a PDR? It's a farm, it's a woodland farm
Maple,
or
well,
something
Maple Farm too.
that works.
There's a person who does maple who used to, at least back then, rent some of Dennis's land. And they were a really good candidate, but it wasn't quite enough for the farmland program, but yeah, I mean, we've long been waiting for some sort of an incentivized program similar to the farmland protection program that focuses on forests where there's not a requirement for public access, because that we have, obviously, we have a lot of parcels in the town that would probably qualify, and we've been waiting for something like that for years, but so far there really isn't anything that I know of. I know DEC has a program right now that if you have at least 10 acres of forest, they will do, oh, I can't think of the word, they will help you, like it's regeneration. Like
Right.
if you have deer browse problems, which every single forest
Mm.
in this part of the world has, you can invite them out. They will come up with a management plan for you and implement it, but it has to be a minimum of $10,000. She probably could get to pretty quickly if you're talking about, you know, fencing and planting, which is really what they do.
Mhm.
They make enclosures or exclosures to keep the
Yeah.
deer out and then plant. This is forest regeneration is the goal of that program. It was out a couple years ago and I saw that they did it again this year. So obviously that's not as much money. But you get help to regenerate your woods.
They seem to be 10 acres or more, because there's another program, I think, creating forested areas. And
Yeah,
another-
it's the same program, but
Oh, it's the
it's
same program.
but
okay.
one is for regeneration and one is like if you've got like a farm field
Yeah,
that you
To-
purchased
to
and you
start a
want to
tree farm?
create, no, just
It's
to
just a
create forest.
forest.
You could start a tree farm with it, I suppose.
But you got, you definitely have to fence it off.
Oh, absolutely.
but 10 acres was the minimum.
Well, it's
I know
not
I've
worth
read that,
DEC's effort to do something smaller. Probably,
Cause I'm just over 8, so it doesn't,
No,
I'm.
yeah. We have 13. I actually was like, maybe I should look into it, but
those beech and ash trees and plant something that'll survive.
we have mostly maple, oak, hickory.
You got good woods.
Yeah, we have a lot of mature trees. We have 0 baby trees except the ones we planted. Like none.
Yeah, that's the issue, the seedlings, the saplings.
Well, they just eat them.
There's nothing in the understory, it's
There's a
yeah,
lot of
buffet.
hungry deer. But anyway,
They don't need eat knotweed and they don't need autumn owl.
don't eat-
Buckthorn.
don't eat
Yeah.
buckthorn,
Yeah.
they don't eat honeysuckle, they don't eat anything we would like them to. Eat. Nothing eats any of that. Oh, the birds eat the berries on the buckthorn and then we plant them
And then we
elsewhere.
get-
Yeah, it's a cathartic, isn't it? Doesn't.
Yes.
Buckthorn gives the
Yes.
birds diarrhea,
Yeah.
spread their seeds everywhere.
Humans do.
Anyway, after today, I'll send out a little recap of today and then maybe with some ideas for moving forward. And then from here out, maybe with Kristen and Kim's help, you know, communications will continue and then hopefully you guys can pick a new chairperson and keep going. Maybe I'll be able to come every now and then. I think we'll be really busy in the beginning. But
When are you starting?
September 3rd,
Oh, wow, around the corner. Yeah.
That's
Still in the same retirement system.
yeah.
Good.
Which is a nice
that's
benefit,
nice.
yeah,
That's a rarity these days.
yeah, well, it's still,
You get to an
Governmental
age where it's
ish.
important.
for sure.
What tier are state employees? No, it's like,
I'm in 6.
my parents were tier 1.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was like a state, say, what else can we give you? What else do you want? You know, just crazy. But obviously it's changed, but still it's a good system.
It is, I mean, I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
Or I will be. The maps was pretty much all I had to talk about today. And then, yeah, moving forward. But
I will put something in the newsletter for September.
yeah. And then, you know, probably your October, November meeting, you're gonna wanna come up with some new goals for next year. I don't know if you wanna try and do mailings this year or wait, but, you know, what I've said about this group is we all have the passion, we've got the know-how, we move a little slowly, but what we do get done is fairly significant. The open space policy was big. I think that was a big win. These maps are gonna be really useful. I know Chuck said multiple times he's excited to use them during the planning board meetings.
Yes.
And anytime our town board is presented with an opportunity to purchase, as long as they remember these are there, that will help. And if either of you hear anything, you can say, hey, look, it'd be a really good idea, and then the ECB and the open space can draft a memo to support the purchase. So,
And how big is that line item in the budget now for such purchases?
that's what he was asking. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go and look.
But it's
The trouble with it is, you know, even if the amount is $1 million, that could be wiped out with one purchase, or not even be enough for one purchase. If you find, you know, some of the, especially the, like the ones on the lake, whenever those are come around, they're never cheap. But we had, the parcel next to McJanet Park, that money was used to purchase that, and that was under $100,000. We used that money to help the land trust those years ago, so I mean, depending on the parcel, it goes a long way, but yeah. I'll let you guys know what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. The
curious.
last time we asked, it was around $1 million, but I can't remember if it's been used for anything recently.
And if you can, see if what's budgeted to go in next year's budget. Or it's, how much is it gonna be replenished?
Yeah, they usually do it at the end of the year if they do it, because if there's any money in the unexpended fund balance, they can move it to these funds.
Good.
I don't know how much, if any, they did last year, but it's usually happens towards the end of the year, so it's something that can be brought up, you know, hey, town board, you wanna do this? But it has to be like, they have to actually do it. It doesn't just automatically happen. They have to choose to do it.
Any feel for the, whether the rehab project here is over or under budget?
Over.
That's what I was afraid of.
But that money has nothing to do with our fund, but yes, it
Yeah,
can
it's
cut
got to
into
do
other
with what's
places.
left over.
Yeah.
Uh,
Certainly. But isn't every construction project over
Oh.
budget these days?
right,
And, past schedule.
Yep.
This is really helpful too, because this was not visual.
No, it was hard. I always found it hard to visualize too. Like, I'm like, okay, I know what it's talking about, but I wanna see it. So like, in development office, when we're reviewing projects, we now have that map and the new map can be used in review.
So just keep me in the dust.
Yeah.
That makes it easier. than
Yes.
Kind of anyplace else.
Yeah, and Kim, I mean, ECB and the planning board can use them during review
Yeah.
and, you know, I mean, maybe what they suggested with the property on 21 can be something that they consider in the future with subdivision. Sometimes, you know, if they feel like they're supporting the subdivision, but could there be another way? You know, maybe this map would come in handy to say, okay, fine, we'll give you the subdivision,
It
but
was a
can you do
bargaining.
this too?
Yeah. It was.
Especially now that they had that one land use little workshop thing here. Back or whatever, so I know they're looking at creating something new from that too.
And Kim, I know you're typically involved in those sorts of things, so maybe you can be a voice during that to remind them of the updates. Cause I think this map will help with the future land use mapping, and I know there's a lot of people that will have that same opinion, Chuck and Jared too, but he may forget about it.
Yep. It will be interesting, because is it MRB that's working on coming
So-
up with something out of that meeting?
Yeah, and I think what it's probably going to lead to is a plan to do some, you know, the actual update to the comprehensive plan, maybe in 2026, that will include the land use mapping, which could eventually impact our zoning map. So that definitely should be a part of it. For sure.
It was an interesting exercise.
Yeah,
Two of the three groups came up with much similar.
yeah. It was really interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what she's talking about. Well, you should, because we sent out invitations, but they did an exercise on future land use, you know, should it, which is basically kind of talking about our zoning map, right? Because our zoning map drives development just by what we allow and disallow. So the future land use mapping, it's like, okay, here's what we have, but what should we have? And I like the way they ran it because they printed out large maps of the town, but it didn't show zoning, it didn't show land cover, it didn't show anything. And the attendees were broken into 3 main groups, and each group was given a map. And they discussed pros and cons, and there was a list of questions for them to ask themselves. And then they were supposed to come up with land use zones and like Kim said, two of the groups came up with fairly similar maps and,
So it's just working with their knowledge of the areas? There was no
and
other-
based on the prompts, the questions, you know, I mean, they're all town residents.
Yeah.
And we
Who are all
invited,
Committee and board members.
yeah,
Right.
existing community board members, so they have a background knowledge of what we do and where we have development. And some of them have the additional knowledge of where we have infrastructure, where we could do development. So the maps were kind of what you'd expect them to be, so it was really, it was a good exercise.
Ours overlaid protecting wild areas in farmland because they have, they're similar.
Yeah,
And farmland a lot of times has wild areas bordering it, so
well, and
we kind
after,
of just,
before and after harvest, animals, well, depending on what they're growing.
Yeah.
I mean, corn, not really much can go through there, but when it's over, there's all kinds of animals that use it.
yeah, so we put, it's like this whole area in the west.
Okay.
Yeah, that was certainly consensus where the
Yeah.
farms were gonna be.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and you know, in the southern part of the town, in the highest part of the town, it's not easy to develop. We don't have sewer, we don't have water. So just that fact alone will help keep those areas not protected. I mean, people still build homes, but they tend not to, you know, they're gonna build a house somewhat near the road and leave the rest alone. Typically, so those sorts of future planning are important because, you know, the town can. They think about, well, where do we want to extend sewer? Where do we want to extend water? Where do we, you know, those decisions can help.
some prompts, some of the prompts for like, you know, higher density housing. Different things like that, and we're all like,
Yeah, well, and it makes sense. Density should be where we already have density,
Yeah.
right? So near the city of Canandaigua makes the most sense for the people who are going to be living in dense areas. You want to be able to get to stuff. So, and I felt like everybody kind of got that. So I think it was good. So you guys might, I mean, you might hear more about that. I hope, I think
they were
There-
talking about.
and yesterday in my-
Their activities.
yesterday in the budget meeting for the development office, the comprehensive plan budget falls under our department, so we talked about that, so I think they will do something in 2026 with the comprehensive plan, so.
Would that be a staff member or MRB?
There's nobody on staff right now who would have the know-how or the time to do what Eric did.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, and Eric's would give for MRB.
Yeah, so I
So I
think,
think
and I
maybe-
told them too, I said, I think you should hire a consultant. So. Whether it's MRB or somebody else, they probably, you know, and it depends on how much. Do you wanna update the entire comprehensive plan? Or
Doesn't-
just focus on the maps?
Doesn't change how.
No, and I think
And Eric did it before.
that's why they were talking about the future land use
Yeah.
map, because our zoning map drives everything. And the last time the town has, I don't, as long as I've been here, there's never been a conversation about changing the town zoning law or zoning districts. But, you know, we gotta look at what do we have, where do we have it, where do we want it to be, and what do we want? And if zoning needs to change to accommodate that, to make it easier, then that's a good way to do it. And yeah, we did our big change with form-based code, so I think the town board is willing to consider a big change like that, but that's why this activity with the future land use mapping is gonna be really important to make sure they do it right.
'Cause I don't know whether it's the chicken or the egg, but I guess it's the zoning map drives the utilities. You know, if you're gonna have
Or
dense,
the other way around.
yeah, but inevitably,
Right,
they
you wanna
go,
make
they
the
go hand in
zoning-
hand. You gotta have
yes.
water and sewer.
Right, if you're gonna change the zoning to
And
make it easier to build
electricity.
houses or whatever, you have to make sure, yes,
Yeah.
that they're gonna be able to build those houses where you want them to.
And that was one of the things of this, the planning board couldn't approve sewer and water
Without the town boards,
without the town board approval.
yeah, blessing, so that's
Yeah.
what that orange area is for. We haven't had anyone use it yet, but
There was something recently about a lot, it was a lot of money, like $100 million state money for utilities that might help the uptown shortfall in the electricity. Is
So
that,
the town has
Yeah.
applied for a grant. In partnership with the developer. And the state to try and move that along. We won't know till December.
but it seemed to be the ideal solution to the stall.
It's a solution.
Yeah.
Nothing's ideal. Ideal would be that RG&E does it themselves, but that won't happen.
Why, I would. It would seem that the utility company should serve its customers, and if we're gonna give them more customers.
Right, we can't
we
give them more
being-
customers without their help, but anyway, this is the process we've got. That was, and part of it is that if you are a pro-housing community, you get a lot more points in your grant application. So we became a pro-housing community as fast as we could. We already had the qualifications to be one, we just hadn't actually finished gathering all the information. So we finished gathering it, we put in the information and they said, okay, yes, you really are a pro-housing community. So we use that status in that grant application. So it should make us a better candidate to get the grant. But again, we won't know until December. So hopefully.
And we have a semi. Shovel ready project, right? Semi,
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if there's a
they had
crane-
gone through enough approvals that they were ready to begin
Yeah.
the infrastructure work.
It's supposed to be totally electrified by a state mandate, right?
State US, not US, state fire and safety code. As of December 31st, yes. No fossil fuels for energy. You can still have a fireplace and stuff like that, from what I understand. But, yeah, natural gas for heating isn't gonna be allowed. I don't think like propane tanks are gonna be allowed. It'll be like my house.
So the federal administration
Yeah.
says the state has no say.
I do kind of wish they had done a transition, but it's gonna be hard. People to let go of that gas stove, yeah.
Boy.
In their dreams
induction
for a
is,
new house.
Try an induction range
So
sometime.
you have, right?
That's what I have. Yeah, this
It's
is
just
that.
sweet.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
Speaking of the grants, one of the things we learned when we had the person come in and talk about the climate smart.
Mhm.
That the state was really looking at that with CFA grants.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was a big.
It
bump up
definitely
for-
gives you more points. The town still has a lot to do to become a
Yeah.
climate smart community, but if we can get
We'd
enough,
like to push that along.
get enough support to do it, I think the town has done enough to potentially qualify for the bronze level. With what we've already done, I just don't know how many points that'll give us moving forward because some of the programs are old, but I mean, they're still out there. So yeah, I think we could qualify.
So I think it would help with some other things. as
Yeah,
well.
and I know you have the information and the ECB is interested in helping, and I would recommend work closely with Jared. Because he's also been working with the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council on CSC
Okay.
and CEC, so
Okay,
I would reach out to him and see if we can push it along. Cause I
Okay.
know he really gets the link between grant money and these status,
Mhm.
these certifications, so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it would be, you have to have a task force and the ECB could be the task force if you guys are willing.
What was the name of the one we spoke with?
Rachel's other.
Yeah. Yeah, that opens up more points on these grants too.
Yeah, she made a. she
We
filled
are
it out.
already a clean energy community and we've already got grant money from that program. One's NYSERDA and one's DEC and it's confusing, but they're meshed together a little bit. A lot of their stuff overlaps. If you have one, it can help the other and vice versa.
I know the CFAs are really huge awards,
Yeah,
so, that's a good
yeah,
thing to be bumped up on.
all good things. Lots of acronyms.
Be nice if the industrial zoning could be tweaked to uh, incentivize or encourage solar in certain places. We were discussing this project on Blue, Michigan.
Yeah.
Because the town's growing, it's gonna need more electricity in addition to better infrastructure. Preferably stuff that's generated locally to be used locally.
We still have land in our industrial zoning district that's big enough for solar projects. But
Yeah.
for some reason, it's not attractive for the solar companies, except for County Road 10. And 46 and in there.
Speaking of, what's the DeMarco project? Have they get, how's that progressing or not?
Oh, they're building.
Are they,
Mhm.
which phase are they in?
Building phase 2 right now, I think.
Okay. So they did end up getting some money somewhere. Good.
I could be wrong. I feel like maybe 2.
Yeah.
I forget how
I
many.
haven't
phases
driven in
are.
there a long time.
Yeah, me neither. But they are currently in the process of building right now. So. All right, well, I'll send out a little recap. And, I'll keep in touch with Kim and Kristen and be able to maybe come back sometimes, just to stay in the loop.
Are the files for this group in the end?
Yeah, I'll share. Yes, they
Okay.
are. Yeah, the M Drive has a folder with all of our boards and committees, which has every board and committee and everything is,
All right.
everything for this group is in there, along with all the other groups too. But yeah. I'll make sure you guys know everything.
Good luck with your new life
Thank
adventure.
you. Yeah,
Exciting.
yeah, I'm not going far. Be around.
How many planners has the town had in the past 10 years?
3.
Just okay.
With the planner position, so I don't know in like, before 2015, I don't know officially how many planners there were. They had planners in the past, but that position had been removed. We had a director of development who had planning knowledge and planning background, so for a long time. And then it was Doug Finch, so then when he
Yeah.
became the town manager, we still had all that. So there wasn't a huge need for a planner. But then, you know, when you're the town manager, you're a little busy, so then they were like, okay, well, maybe we should. So they created the position and an existing employee moved into it, and that was Eric Cooper. And then, of course, he left, and then we had another planner. Yeah, and then she left, and then me. So, but we've all been here about a year to 2 years. The town has a habit of building people up and giving them success, and then they leave.
Yeah.
We're very supportive of our
Yeah,
employees.
that's-
The planner job, or what I think of planner or director of development, started with Doug, right? And then he segued into
Yeah,
the town manager.
it's hard, you know, there's so much going on that we don't get to do a lot of planning. I mean, like this is planning what we're doing, working on our comprehensive plan and our big picture ideas that will move the town in the direction we want to. All of that is planning, but we're so busy with the day to day that we don't get a lot of time to focus on it.
I gotta run. Take care.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Gary.
That thing on?
Yeah, that's pretty much it anyway. Oh my goodness. I think you might have left on that.
What's that?
Unless that's one.